So I think we can probably start with just sort of walking through the system a little bit. If you want to share your screen and start demoing a
Can I
little
say
bit.
one more thing?
Yeah, of course.
All right. So I just wanted everybody watching to know that, you know, they asked me to come here. I'm here on my own time. I'm not getting anything to do this, and that's because I really really like the system and the company behind it, and everything that Sunny said in the beginning is true. A year into this, I still have those weekly phone calls. You know, the support has been way beyond anything that I ever expected when we first signed up. You know, I have a direct line to, you know, a real live person. I call them if we're stuck and they answer. Sometimes we're texting back and forth and they say, try this. It's, you know, I've never gotten anything like that with any software I've ever used. So I just kind of wanted to say that stuff really does. That's why I'm here, because they've set themselves apart from any other company I've ever worked with in terms of the support and the level of pride and care that they put into their product. So I just wanted to kind of say that to everybody watching. So
Thank you. That was very nice. I'm blushing.
all right. To start, you know, this is the navigation screen over here. And right off the rip, we'll just start out with a new quote. And we can pick a customer. It doesn't really matter. Perfect. We can add a contact, and we can set a priority as well. Is it low, moderate, high? Moderate's fine. So when we get into the quote, we will, in the system, you know, we have before we would get into a quote, we can either do an item here, or we could have an item already in our inventory set up, which we have, and we're going to start off with our moon rover. So when we get in here, we can see the price that it's giving us. We can also come down, and this is where I start, is right off with the bill of material and the routing. And I open this up, and I'm able to see every part, every component, everything that is inside of this moon rover that we need to manufacture in order to ship it complete to the customer. And I'm gonna come in here, and hopefully that all of this is in our system correctly. If it's not, I can make edits to it. You know, I can open up the items, and I can take a look at them. I can update things. I can do whatever needs to be done. I can add operations, you know, assemblies. I can set specific equipment that I want it operated on. I can do all of this, and all of my pricing is built into, you know, what, depending on the operation and the equipment that it's run on, and it pulls everything in. So all of these subcomponents of the moon rover are all pulled in. Everything's accounted for: the material, the labor, any components that we buy, the cost to assemble. All of it is all built in.
And Jeff, can you really quickly, can you open that back up?
I absolutely can.
Yeah. And then go ahead and just click on the total cost over to the right. Yeah. And that'll give you like a physical breakdown of all of your labor, all of your costs per hour based on your labor, all the quantities of all the material you need, and all the subcomponents and everything. So I just want to point that out.
And see, I'm learning stuff because I didn't know that.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. That's actually really cool. I did not know if you clicked on it, it broke it out like that.
Yeah.
So, but exactly, right? I can see everything needed. And then, and this is actually kind of a new feature, is this margin-based pricing, which I think is fantastic. I can do a unit per unit price, or I can figure on a margin, on a margin price, which is how we operate. You know, so if I'm looking to make, you know, I want to make a 30% margin on this, I can set it to 30%, and we can add as many quantities as we want, and it'll do quantity-based pricing, and you know, and show the discount for all the quantities. Down the bottom, we have, you know, any attachments that we've attached to the drawing. So the, you know, 3D models, our PDFs, you know, our drawings, any specifications are all right there. I can set a lead time, whatever it might be. And we can come over to the details page, payment terms, what customer it is. I can attach files and notes, whatever I need. And then I can go over to my preview screen and I can see my quote. And it's as easy as that. I can download it, or if I use Outlook, I can just click email and send it off. Once it's been sent, well, there's actually, before we send it, we do have an approval process. So let's say I did not do the quote, maybe one of my guys did the quote, they would come in, mark it ready for approval, and then somebody else has to go in and actually approve it. So there's a little bit of a check there just to make sure that we didn't miss anything, right? It's always great for somebody else to put another set of eyes on it. After that, it becomes approved, and then we can send it, and we can mark it as sent. And when we come back to our quotes page, here's our quote, you know, quote 1043 to Planetary Research, status sent, right? And when it was ready for approval, it would show that it was ready for approval, and you know, basically you get a status right there.
Let's get it over to a sales order and
let's do it. All right,
job going.
Quote comes back, it's been won, and we can convert it right to a sales order right from here. Again, at this point, you know, we mark this immediately ready for approval. We do another check. We want to go through, we want to make sure that, you know, everything's looking right. All of the BOM and routing are correct, all the materials are correct, everything is good. And if it's approved, we approve it. On the details page, this is where we can put in our, you know, we enter our customer PO number, whatever it is. And you can attach a copy of the purchase order down here.
And also can see the quote that you came from, just in case you needed to send it back.
Yep, and you can see the quote. That's actually one of the really cool things, is everything related to this at this point shows up there. So as we go through the process, the quotes there, any invoices are there, any shipping and receiving orders are there, any POs for outside processing are there. Everything is all tied together and easily accessible. Once we mark it as sent, it now asks us to schedule the job.
And one of the nice things about this too is we're also showing you how many you actually have available in inventory, and that's all live as well. So you can see that the quantity is 1 for this particular one, but we have some negative inventory in there, so maybe we should make 6. So let's change that quantity to 6 instead. Get us back up to a good number. All right, cool.
And we can give it a, you know, August 31st doesn't, and maybe it's a high priority. So we want to create the job, and we do want to approve and schedule it. And we will click create job. And when we come back to our items page, we scroll down, we now have a job scheduled for this moon rover, and I can open it to a new tab. And everything we need for this job is right at our fingertips. You know, we can see from the jobs page, from a administrative point of view, from my perspective, this is where I'm looking and seeing how everything is progressing. I can come in here in real time. I can see, okay, all the cutting's been done, the CNC milling's been done. I can see if they've gone over the allocated time that we thought it was going to take, and see if there are any notes in here to see if they're, see what the reason was. Okay, the bandsaw broke down, or the blade broke and we had to wait for another one. I can see all of the stuff that my guys are putting in, and and if I don't see notes, then I can go yell at people. But
Exactly.
I try not
And
to.
then another thing that's good to see too is the materials down here. You can see what you have in inventory, what's required, and then you can see the things that we're suggesting you buy for this job as well. So we kind of list all that out, and we also check off the things that are fine already that we know you have enough inventory for and you're not encroaching on your minimums. All good things. All right, maybe we can bop on over to the schedule page and just give that a reschedule. I don't remember what job we were. Oh, it was 10:49. Okay, so it's all scheduled out, and now we can see it here on the scheduling page and which stations it's going to hit. In this particular case, we're showing everything that's being scheduled, right? But Jeff, if you search up at the top for 10:49, it's going to show you everything under every operation and every piece of equipment that you could potentially need to work on. And the schedule will do all of this automatically.
Right. And it does work pretty good. We can follow right along, and it gives you dates and backlogs and all that great stuff.
Yeah.
Do you want to pop in the job tracking real quick?
Yeah, let's do it.
So if we come into job tracking and we search 1049, everything that's on the schedule is, and this is what my guys out on the floor spend the majority of their time in. They're in here looking at the actual jobs that need to be completed. So they have job 1049 in front of them, and the first op is bandsaw, and they can come right in here. They can, down in the bottom corner, there's if you click, there's all the documentation needed for the job.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
We have details, exactly what it is, and then they can, they can click setup if they're setting the machine up, and they can log their time on setup. And then once that's done, maybe somebody else takes over, and they can click on labor and log their time into labor. There's obviously, the labels I was talking about. There's scrap, rework, operations. But if everything goes as planned, at this point, once the bandsawing was done, we would come in and we would pick what we needed for materials, boop, boop, boop. That would automatically deduct it all from our inventory. And then we would complete this operation. We say, all right, we had 12 done. I don't know, maybe we scrapped one. And, and we would just click complete. And then that's all set. And it moves us right down to the very next operation. And it's all pretty locked in, which is, I can complete this, right? It's not gonna.
Yeah.
So if I click this, it's completed, and it just brings you right to the next correct operation. There's no guesswork in it, really. We just it just brings you right down the line of what needs to be done.
Right, exactly.
And this is also, when I was talking about those notes earlier, this is also where the operators can add notes in if things are behind or something's broken, and they can put in some nice notes and reasons and everything for it that I can then see from my standpoint.
Definitely. Or even attach a photo of where they left something so they can find it later when they come back to the job, or if somebody else picks it up later. So.
Right.
Awesome. Thank you, Jeff. That was awesome.